Hey folks, how you doing? And welcome to a special episode of McGold-RIFFS, the Corona version of it. Maybe we'll make this, I don't know what number this is. This is just a special version. And since a lot of us are home these days because of the various things we're going through right now, I've been teaching a lot remotely. And I got a bunch of kids I'm working with and some adults. And one of my kids broke a string. So it's, I thought, man, maybe I should make a episode on some general sort of guitar, maintenance type stuff. And to my buddy Dan Armstrong, I don't want too many criticisms because I'm not you. But I've been doing this many years, and I like to take care of my guitars. And today I have my 814 CE. That it was a 2012 Taylor, and as you can see, if you can see this, it gets beaten up pretty much pretty regularly. And but it's a beautiful guitar. It has these beautiful Coca-Cola rosewood in back, and I'm pretty good with strings as far as knowing when to change strings. I play hard, as you can see from banging up the guitar, and I used to, when I played Fender medium picks, I used to break those picks quite a bit, and I used to, believe it or not, break E and A strings. And I use these great strings from a company by the name of Elixir that I get from Sweetwater. I'm a big fan of Sweetwater, and they're 1213 nano webs, and these are the coated strings that theoretically last longer and sound better, actually. And I really like them, and they're recommended by Taylor, and I tend to go with whatever the manufacturer I'm working with, what they recommend for strings. But my point about Elixirs are, I was breaking because I was using those picks. I'm using nylon Dunlops now, 0.73. So when I was using those Fender medium picks, believe it or not, I was breaking E's and A, low E, low A. Yeah, I know. So I actually messaged Elixir, and they're Germans, and they're very, kind of in this German way. You're the only guitar player in the world who's ever broken E and A strings. But they sent me a box of E's and a box of A's. So I'm getting better at kind of knowing when to change strings, and I usually play 10 to 15 gigs a month. And I try to get 3 or 4 weeks for strings, 12 to 14 pairs a year, which can be expensive. These things are about $15 a piece, but it is tax deductible for you professional musicians out there. So, what I like to do, again, I have all my strings lined up over here on the left, and you can use one of these things. You get these little peg turners that you can get from Sweetwater, and I'm a big fan of Sweetwater. Maybe they'll sponsor me one of these days. But you just do this baby sort of thing like here. That's it. Hope I can get through this video with the batteries on this thing going. So you just get that down there. Get that off there. And you just keep on doing it for all the strings. And I'll probably edit this down so you guys... Okay, so we'll stop there because the batteries did die on this thing. Oh, no, they didn't. Okay. Here we go. So you just turn these babies until they're ready to go. And this is, again, one of my students has got to change the strings, or his dad's going to change the strings for him. This student's 7, so I don't think he's going to be doing it. Okay, so you get this one. The A string, 5th string, and I always teach my young kids how to memorize the name of strings. Eddie, 8, Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie. That's a good one to remember. You don't want to eat dynamite. So, Uno momento. Put this baby away, the E string. And let's just get a nice wire cutter. You always have to have wire cutters. And by the way, if you take a look at, how do you know, I have a nice little changing table here. Little thing you can get from a company by the name of Music Nomad. Music Nomad makes these little pads here too. So let's go back up. Here we go. Get a little wire cutter. You always need wire cutters when you're a guitar player. Always have an extra pair. I got about 9 guitars and I got 9 wire cutters because you never know what guitar you're going to have at a gig. And you got to have the tools of the trade. And occasionally these pegs are tight and you can just use a needle nose pliers for that. So we got most of the strings off. Again, there are a couple of strings where the tops are still in there. And this is where, when you're an old guy, you need your glasses. And you need to, you know, use a needle nose of some sort to kind of get these, this part out. And I'll probably edit a lot of this stuff out so you're not bored to death with this thing. Okay. Here we go. Okay. You got that little piece out there. It's like being a guitar surgeon. Actually, maybe I'll send this to my doctor student so he can... you know, hopefully, you know, nothing against my buddy Dan Armstrong, and I'm mentioning you. Dan Armstrong, I'm a big fan of Dan Armstrong. He's from Music Go Round. I believe he's the best tailor guy in the area. And when you have an expensive tailor, you don't want to fool around. So most guys who can afford a tailor can afford Dan. Who knows after the market crash, if any of us will be able to afford anything. Maybe we'll be selling these things, I don't know. But this is painful getting this portion off. Voila! See that? You got it. Just like being a surgeon, a guitar surgeon here. And who knows? Let's get this baby off. 1 second. I'm almost there. God, last one. Okay, so now we can start. First thing I like to do is to just tighten up a few things. Get a little one of these babies here. And I think this is the size for this baby. Just tighten these babies. Not too much, but enough. Tightening the nuts here on the tuners. These are beautiful tuners from Taylor. That all looks good. I'm going to use one of these babies for that. And let's see how these things are. I just want to make sure there's a little, you know, of course, because I'm on video, I'm forgetting Phillips. But, you know, you just make sure these are tight enough. That's good. That one's good. I mean, I'm always doing this with these, so nothing gets too loose with me. Okay. That looks good. And it's just a little screwdriver. Next thing we're going to do, folks, at home. I know, isn't this exciting? We're going to clean this baby. And wipe it down. Maybe I'll do the fretboard first. You know, your fretboard gets very, very dirty. And I don't know, Dan, you're probably going to criticize me on this, but I use a tiny bit of rubbing alcohol. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. And let me just close that because I will knock it over. There we go. your hands, there's so much grime on your hands, and you're just wiping down the frets, you know, just like that. Getting these babies down. Just plain old rubbing alcohol, you know, just... You probably can't see this, but look at the dirt that just came off of that just now. That's from your fingers and various clubs back in the days when it was smoking, you know. You can imagine the damage on guitars back in those days. Just for a demonstration, I'm going to use a tiny bit of this baby here. A little bit of lemon oil. Shake it up a bit. There's a little sort of top to it. And I'll just put a little bit of this stuff on because you only do this maybe a few times. And this is lemon oil. I think you can get this anywhere. But you can get it again from your online guitar places like Sweetwater. And you know, just rub that baby down. Yeah, Dan, I think we're gonna need to do some fret work on this baby. That's stuff I can't do. I don't know, 8 years, probably 1,000 gigs in 8 years, well over 100, probably 120 or so a year. So you're well over 1,000 gigs. That's probably right, and hundreds of hours of teaching and whatever, practicing. And again, I practice with all different guitars, but I don't practice that much with this guitar. I do teach a lot with this guitar though. So again, I'm pretty maniacal, even though I beat it up as much as I do. I take care of these babies. A little bit of, I'm using Music Nomad again, the same guys who made this stuff here. I have a special cloth for just like giving this baby a bath. Just some polish. You could probably use any kind of polish, really. That looks pretty good. Let me take a look in the light, make sure we got everything. So, how's everyone doing at home? Again, I've been teaching some classes, you know, you're interested. I've actually been doing it free for a lot of my friends, you know. So, I don't know how I got this so dirty. Maybe it was that last gig at Mighty Squirrel. I don't know. But it was pretty dirty. And I hate a dirty guitar. I really do. Yeah, you never see me with glasses, do you? No. And I like to just make sure this is my baby, this guitar. This makes a lot of money, this guitar, I tell you. It's more than paid for itself. I think this is, I don't know how much this was. It was well over $3,000. In that range. You probably have to pay $4,000 for it now. And look at that Mexican rosewood, huh? Coca-Cola rosewood. As beautiful as it gets. So we're in good shape here. This guitar is looking great. And it is a great guitar. I did have Dan put the ES2 into this thing, and I love it. It took me some time. The ES2 is the new expression system too, from Taylor. Some people complain about it, you know. I am not really... There's a lot of the guys that complain can't play that well, unfortunately. Nothing against you guys, but, you know. You give Pat Metheny a $20 guitar, it's going to sound good in Pat's hands, in general. But guitar players love the kvetch. My old guy, what was his name? Sam Diamond? Is that his name? Stan Diamond, and his kvetch. Is that the right word? Okay, so look how beautiful these strings are from 5.3 is what I have on the low E, the 6th string. I was just teaching a guy And you know, having the right nomenclature as to what string is the bottom string. Bottom string is a low string. I call it the E string. But it's good to be speaking the same language as to when you're trying to teach somebody. But especially, so the pegs go right in, and hopefully you can see this on the video. Right like that, if you can see that. Right like to the bottom. And what I do is I stretch it up here. I look for the hole, which at my age is harder these days. Little story. For those of you of a certain age, you might remember Major Mudd. Major Mudd was a television personality. I was a little kid. And me and Bobby Mojave, if Tommy McCuskey's watching this, me and Bobby Mojave were on this TV show. And the show was, it was a contest to put spaghetti, certain types of spaghettis with the holes in them, into a string. And my hands were shaking the whole time. And Bobby Mojave beat me on that one. And my our Cub Scout leader, Mrs. Powers, said, "Bill, you were shaking like a smoker." And I've never smoked in my life. And plus I was like 8 or 9 years old. So there we go. So you get this baby here. So hopefully you can see it. So you go like, what I try to do, and I learned this from somebody, I don't know, pull down about the size of a fret or so, maybe a little bit less. And then I do a little crimp, and I know, Dan, you do it better than me. And I go like that, and this baby is ready to go. So we just use this baby. All right. Because I'm on video here, I'm, you know, being stupid. I'm forgetting which way to go here. I never have this problem. There, I'm going to hold this baby like that. There we go. Just kind of, and you don't need one of these peg turner things. I use an app by the name of Guitar Tuner. This is going to give me a ballpark as to what the boom. Put it right on the guitar. That's good. I try to stretch it a little bit by pulling it. That's probably wrong too, right there. But voila, one string is done. And this take 20 minutes to get to this point. Isn't this exciting? Here we go. The A string, 42. 42. Ready to go. Take the string out. Boom. Make sure I haven't lost the pegs yet. I got all 5 pegs. This baby is the peg. Goes right into the bridge here. Okay. Find the hole again. Okay. Pull it down about, you know, about a fret size. Kind of crimp it down there. Crimp it. Hold it. Turn it. You probably can't see, of course. And again, Bill at BillMcGold-RIFFS.net. Just email me with any questions. Again, I'm not a luthier. I'm a professional guitar player. As they say, don't try this at home. But I actually do want you to try it at home. I'm going to kind of get it under. Get it into the nut. We say close enough for jazz. We're in the ballpark now. We're rocking and rolling. D string elixir is 32, thereabouts. Here we go. Again, make sure you find this little pegs here. And there's a little groove. You probably can't see the groove, but you want to have the groove and the string go with the groove. I'm a big groove guy. So, find the hole again. Which is easier said than done sometimes. Okay? Pull it down about a fret size or so. Crimp it. Do that sort of baby. Start tearing it. Looking at guitar tuner, getting into the ballpark. We'll worry about fine tuning it later. Put on automatic. Everything looks good, you know. In my humble opinion, any guitar player leaves these things at the top is not a pro, unfortunately. You know, I just don't think so. Just my humble opinion. I could be wrong, again. But not that often. When it comes to music and other things, quite often. But that's okay. Doesn't bother me. Sometimes wrong, very few times uncertain. Okay, so the little groove on this baby here, a little groove down, and the string's going to be in front of it, in front of that groove. So make sure that's good. Okay, so this side is a little bit trickier as usual. I'll probably do gotta pull this up, pull it down about a fret size or so, and I'm going to crimp it, and then I'm going to go around. I know you probably can't see this, but this will be for my students too, you know. So you want to kind of, I want to do this. See that? So I got it in, and I'm going to put it through again on this side. Okay? If I can see it. There we go. Voila. There you go. So that's ready to go. And, yeah, you probably can't see this, baby. Very expensive guitar. I don't want to put it on the cement floor here. Concrete floor. I know, you can't see. Let me get it going by hand first. Ah! That's what I don't want. Good. Get this baby like that. Yeah, I know, you can't see. Any questions, just email me. Bill@McGold-RIFFS.net. Missy. Dre Bone. Yeah, that's not that great. So let's get this baby right here though. Okay. For some reason this thing just stops working. For some reason. Okay. Why is it doing that? I don't know. Sometimes these pegs will start to pop out a bit. Eardrums sometimes too, you know. Okay, and get rid of this top part because you don't want to be a moron. Not that you guys are bored or showing you strings. It just looks awful, man. In my humble opinion. 16, B string, 2nd string, not your 5th string. I don't want you to mix that up. Okay, babe. Here we go. We get 2 more strings and we get 2 pegs here. So we must be in half decent shape. I don't think I can lose one more, do I? So that into there, that into there. Then up here real quick. I know you can't see, but you just gotta trust me on this. Right here. Put it through. See, I need another cameraman for this thing. And I'll get complaints on YouTube. Oh, you know, I couldn't see anything, you idiot. Oh, whatever. Call me if you have any issues. Again, this is another one where you wrap it around and then put it back in just a little bit. There we go. That's exactly wrong. I think because I'm on camera, I'm kind of screwing up like I did with Major Mud. That's true. Nope. There we go. That. There we go. And I'm going to essentially do this here. Break it. Could you hear how that? You can hear the furnace in the background, right? Which is brand new, by the way. It just cost $10,000. Oh well. It's part of being a homeowner. Okay. And we have, ladies and gentlemen, in my hand, 30 minutes later or 29 minutes later, the last string, the E string, the number 1 string. Okay? Remember that. And again, you should be changing your strings. You should be. Playing, you know, it's interesting. I do believe, 2 people, I believe Pat Metheny doesn't change his strings. I've been told that. And I know for a fact when he was alive, Chuck Berry never changed his strings either. So, but I'm sort of a string crazy person. You know, it's something about playing a clean guitar, a polished guitar, a beautiful guitar. And this is a work of art. Specifically, this guitar is really a work of art. Okay, so we have that in down there, right? And I'm going to show you, maybe I can show you close up like this. Okay. So, the string, here it goes. Goes right through the little hole here. Boom. Pull it up. Here we go, we're pretty good. Pull it down about a fret size or so you have some room to wrap this baby. Kind of crimp it with your finger, underneath and back in. And this is for my buddy Prashant, whose son Neil broke his E string. Doing this specifically for you, man, but hopefully others can learn from it. But again, just got to get that through. And just do what you can on Prashant on this. Just do what you can to get that in there and stable. You don't necessarily need one of these, baby. It just makes it a lot faster. And I like to sometimes get this going by hand and then wrapping it with the peg turner. I think that's what you call it. I'm not the greatest for names of things. Forget stuff sometimes. Okay, so that's around once. So it's in the, we're in the ballpark. Get this. Here we go. Make sure all those pegs are. Okay, cut the top. We have, ladies and gentlemen, we are pretty much done. Now it's for fine tuning time. Oh, Make sure you put your tools away in your right spot. There you go. Okay, let's just see where we are. That's what that baby looks like when it's in tune. See how those sound, man? How about that, huh? Out of tune already. I usually let it sit for a while. That's it.